Good morning, how are you?
Good morning, Facebook. How are you?
I got a question for you.
You have a question?
I got a question for you.
All right. Serena has a question for you.
Are you moving to communities? Are you moving to communities?
Are your emotions getting in the way of your amazing success?
I would take it in a second.
All right. So you're thinking about that question? That's good. And in a second, Serena's going to talk to you about it.
My name is Rudy. I am the community underwriter, right?
Right. So in case you didn't catch that, this is Serena Vasegi. And Serena Vasegi is the speaker who can't speak and the writer who can't write.
My dad is very achievers.
Right. So Serena's job, his whole thing, is that he wants to motivate you, he wants to inspire you, and he wants to help you achieve your goals. Yeah, me? Well, my name's Jamila, and Serena calls me his right-hand woman. Thanks, Serena.
Yeah. So, that's my question. Are you moving everything you're moving?
All right, so back to the question. And the question was this. Are your emotions affecting your ability to reach the amazing success that you want to get to?
So we were talking about moving.
Right. So look, if that's the case, and there's a chance that it is, then there's something that you need. And what you need is probably a little bit more emotional discipline. And that's what we're talking about today. All right, here's the thing. Right, Serena just said he reads a lot of self-help books. It's his industry.
I love it.
He loves it. It's his thing.
But that's self-help. That's your emotions.
Right, but here's the thing. A lot of self-help covers a lot of stuff, but what it doesn't cover is emotions.
Yeah. Because we are emotional human beings.
And because we are emotional human beings, a lot of our actions are dictated by the way we feel.
I would love to, when I get in office, put every emotion aside and get work.
Right. Someone said, hey, you know what? I would love it if that when I came into the office, I brought my body in and left my emotions out. But the truth is, that's really just not how it works.
So I have been writing about myself.
Right. Serena said, look, I've been doing a lot of writing about mindset.
It's in the coming months, I'm going to understand.
Right. And coming up in the next few months, that's what Serena's going to do a lot of talking about, is just that, mindset.
So I do how you feeling getting away from my head.
Right. So Serena said, look, here's the thing though. You know, in your studying of mindset, you found out how you're feeling. Serena found out how you're feeling can really affect your mindset.
We put a mindset in the way we go, the way we shop, the way we interact with others.
Right. So a big part of mindset, you know, it goes with how we go after our goals, how we interact with others, how we interact with, what was the rest of it, Serena?
Ideas.
Yeah, how we interact with our days. So basically, mindset touches everything you do.
Yeah. And guess what? Emotion is basic. is very important.
Right. And, along with that, there's emotional discipline, which is our topic for today. And it is highly important as well.
Music is one of the things I struggle with all the time.
Right. So admittedly, it's a struggle for Serena. Emotional discipline isn't something that you just have. It's something you have to work for, correct?
Yes. I have trouble with it every single day.
And you have trouble with it every single day.
So there's 5 areas of life I don't cover.
Right, so there's 5 areas of life that you're going to cover. And you're going to look at it from the angle of emotional discipline?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you ready?
All right, so hopefully you're ready.
If you are, give me a thumbs up.
If you are, so we're going to ask that you please give him a thumbs up.
Give me a thumbs up. Give me a love.
Or, Serena likes love, so if you could, give him a little love.
Okay, we all have a narrative about life.
So it all starts here. It's going to start here with narrative. Because we all have a narrative about life.
What is
Yeah, that narrative is just that. It's what your story is. What is your story? And it takes emotional discipline to see what parts of your story are true. What parts of your story can be improved.
What part of your is false.
And what parts of your story are false.
No. A big part of my story is the third handicap.
A big part of your story is
handicap.
So Serena said a big part of his story centers around his handicap.
What are my beliefs?
Right. What are his abilities versus what are his limitations?
And it's almost ready to reach things to become amazing.
Right, and thus it takes emotional discipline to really, get into what it takes to be amazing.
Yeah, let's talk about you.
Right, so now we want to take that and stop applying it to Serena, but really look at it as it impacts or affects your life.
You.
Oh, me?
You have a narrative.
Right, so here's the thing. Just like Serena has a narrative, you have a narrative.
You have a narrative about everything.
You have
a narrative about everything.
You have a narrative about everything. Yeah, there's a part of you that tells you how much money you can make.
How much your work has
Right, how much an impact work has upon success.
Whether
corporate America is good or whether it's evil.
Whether life is fair or not.
I'm sorry?
Whether life is fair or not.
Whether life is fair or not. There's just so many things. Yeah, it's endless. Are you capable? Are you lovable? All of that's part of your narrative.
Some of that too.
And some of it's true.
Some of it's false.
And some of it not so true.
And the only discipline to really look at what's true, what's not. And we can improve.
Right, and then so it takes emotional discipline to be able to sort out what's true and then what can be improved upon.
Number two.
All right, number 2.
Habits.
Now we're getting to our habits.
nothing will change unless your habits and routines.
Right, so here's the thing about life. And you probably already know this. Nothing in your life changes if you don't change your habits and you don't change your routines.
Habits are the engine that keeps your life going.
Right, so your habits and your routines, those are the things that keep your life kind of going. You know, it's the thing that kind of, you know, it kind of keeps the traffic flowing, right?
Yeah. There are the habits. There are good habits.
Yeah, there's like, you know, there's your good habits, and there's your work habits, and there's your life habits. We tend to have habits, routines, systems for almost everything we do.
Even the way we react to someone that
It's true. We have a general pattern for something as small as how we're going to react if someone cuts us off on the freeway.
And a lot of people, it is ruin the day.
And a lot of people,
It just ruin the day.
yeah, it'll just ruin their day.
And like I need energy.
Yeah, they just, you know, yeah, they have just such a visceral reaction, right? And it just stays there and it doesn't go anywhere. And for the rest of the day, all they're dealing with or thinking about is this person that cut them off, which is really silly because the person who cut them off probably hasn't thought about it.
Yeah.
They have a lot of control at that moment.
It's exact. Doing it over and over again.
Right. And so here we go. A big part of success is being able to do something that should be done at a high level on a recurring basis.
Hours.
Right. So if any of you read Malcolm Gladwell, was that Outliers?
Nice.
Okay. In his book, he writes that, I think it's Outliers. Anyways, in his book, he writes that it takes 10,000 hours to become amazing at something. And you can see that the examples he used with the Beatles, they spent approximately 10,000 hours to become the musicians they became. The Williams sisters were another example he used. 10,000 hours.
You go over again.
Yeah, because you can just see it over. You can just see it time and time again. It's about 10,000 hours of practice at something to be good at it. You know.
And guess what? We just don't want to do it.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that, please?
You just don't want to do it.
And then there's sometimes you just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Of course. I was an athlete. I ran track, and I can guarantee you there were many a day that I just didn't want to be out there.
Okay. I got there you go.
Another example?
I take 4 vitamins a day.
You take 4 vitamins a day?
Big, huge.
Like horse tablets?
Yeah.
Oh.
There's not a day that goes by where I'm not like, oh my goodness, I gotta take it. I never see it yet. I guess I gotta take vitamins.
Right, so I said, look, there's not a day that goes by where he doesn't go, oh my gosh, I have to take these 4 vitamins. He never wakes up and goes, yes, I get to take my 4 horse tablets a day. That's just not how it goes for him.
I never love turning out the TV when we get out working.
Yeah, he never loves turning off the television when his children are watching. Yeah, nobody's happy about it, but you know it's one of those things.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Oh yeah, there's a whole series of things that, you know, we have to do that we don't want to do. I can think of a whole bunch of things.
Yes.
Yes, and it's a long list. I mean, things you just, it has to be done. No, not dealing with you. But I had a friend that once said, because I was like, well, do you like doing that? Why are you doing it? He's like, no, I don't like doing it. But it has to be done. And now I use that a lot in my life. When there's something that I don't want to do, but it needs to be done. Doesn't matter whether you want to do it or not. It has to be done. It's just that simple.
This is one thing. This is the you want to do. 100 days in a row.
So let's say you go to you can't go to the gym 100 days in a row, but okay. Let's say you do. Let's say on your off day you just do a yoga class or you walk. So 100 days in a row at the gym.
Now it's a good habit.
It's a good habit. You keep going.
But guess what? On the 100th day.
On day 101.
You should have emotional discipline.
You still have to have the emotional discipline to get up and go.
Let's say a salad 20 days in a row.
Let's say
You eat salad 20 days in a row.
you decide, who knows why, to eat salad 28 days in a row.
And then you're at a restaurant. Remember,
Day 29, you break it. You're at a restaurant.
And you break it. Your emotions get a rice.
Your emotions.
Hey, forget the salad. They don't order rice.
Yeah, you decide, forget salad, I'm going to order fries.
Yeah. So, it's time for everything.
Yeah, so I guess the whole point is habits. Habits are important. We have, habits and routine systems. They're all important. There's a three-way that kind of keeps everything going. But you need to make sure that, what you do is actually going to lead you to something. It's going to be something positive that's going to get you to a place where you want to be.
Again, this is what most fall apart.
Yeah, and Serena said this is why most New Year's resolutions fall apart.
Yeah, it's not
Right, it's not the emotional discipline to go through it. I have a wonderful example. So, as so many women, I have a constant struggle with wanting to lose weight, constant. And the thing is, I'll decide, okay, you know what? I'm going to really work at it. I'm going to get myself in shape. We're going to have it together. And I go and I start working toward it. And I'm really disciplined. I'm like, I have to do this. If I don't do this, these things are going to happen that I don't want. And the discipline is there. And the emotional discipline is there too. Until, are you ready for this, Serena?
Mm.
I get on the scale and I see positive results. Now, logic would say, oh, good, you saw a positive result, so you will continue on the path that you've been traveling because it worked for you. But emotionally, I get excited. And I decide, well, now I can let up a bit. I can celebrate. And do you know what inevitably happens? All of that hard work is for naught. And I end up having to start all over again because I wasn't emotionally disciplined enough to look and go, okay, that's good. Now, you need to understand the discipline it took to get there, to get to this point, is the same discipline that it's going to take to get to the next point. And you cannot let your emotions of, yay, I achieved, get in the way of the success that you're really trying to reach. Can I give another example? Yes, you can. Oh, yes. So let's say you've checked your checking account or your savings account or whatever account. Right. And now you look and you see, wow, I have a little extra money here.
It's hard not to spend on something.
And rather than say, let me keep this money, you say, I'm going to let it burn a little hole in my pocket. I need to go spend it.
And then you engage in retail therapy.
And then you go and engage in a little retail therapy because, after all, it is your responsibility to stimulate the economy.
Yes. Let's move on to number 3.
Pardon?
Let's move on to number 3.
Yes, well, let's finish the example. So now you have lost your discipline that got you the savings account. Right.
You were.
And now you're right back to where you started. Once again, it's the same emotional discipline that got you to point A that's going to get you to point B. And it might even take more to get to point B than it did to get to point A.
Yeah.
Yes.
Number 3.
Okay, number 3.
Game time.
Yeah, so here's a fact of life in case you didn't already know. There will be challenges. You will have challenges in your life.
Now, we'll get to know everything. Success may not be what you think.
Right. And what's getting in the way of your success, it may not be what you think.
Imagine it's like a it's like an ad, it's anything you have.
Right. So you might be thinking that what's getting in the way of your success is like a lack of a lack of time, a lack of resources, a lack of connections. And so many people think that, oh, I'm not successful because, you know what, I didn't know so-and-so. If I had known that person, then I could have been successful too.
Yeah, it was.
Right.
Connections can be cultivated.
Right. In case you didn't know, connections can be cultivated.
And be talent can be cultivated.
Yeah, talent can be cultivated and developed.
Yeah. You can listen to something that makes you amazing.
And there's something that makes you amazing.
Yes, you do have the motivation to be amazing.
Right. You just need to have the emotional discipline to be amazing.
Okay, so mental blocks.
Okay, mental blocks.
Not mental blocks, maybe insecurities.
Right. So many of us have them, and sometimes we recognize them, sometimes we don't. Oftentimes we don't even want to address them. One of your mental blocks might be an insecurity.
It might be fear.
It might be fear.
It might be not being good enough.
Right. It might be feeling inferior.
The emotion is true.
Right. It takes an emotional discipline. And Serena, can I add to that a little bit?
Yeah.
Because it also takes emotional courage.
I heard that.
Thank you. It takes a little courage to be willing to admit and address those issues. Because who wants to admit that they don't feel as good as somebody else? Or that they are as good as somebody else? And that's where the emotional discipline comes.
I need to help.
Yes, it also comes, with the ability to ask for help. Because once again, in a lot of cases, it can be hard to say, hey, you know what? I can't do this by myself.
I need help.
That's right. I need help.
I need to ask for help.
I need to ask for help. Can I give you an example about that?
Yeah.
Okay, finish up and then I have
every time I ask for help. Difficult.
Right. Serena said hey, look, every time he asks for help, it's difficult.
Yeah, it must be very, it must be very,
It must be embarrassing.
it must be very,
It might be embarrassing.
it must be just exhausting.
And it might be just exhausting.
When I ask for help, well, I go, oh my goodness, if I had to do it, I would not need it.
Right? Serena said, look, when he asks for help, it's hard because he thinks to himself, if I weren't disabled, then I wouldn't have to ask for this. I could do it myself.
And, it's hard. It's trying to always deal with tragedy is a part of it.
Yeah, and it is hard. It's difficult to deal with your challenges in a positive way because so often it's just easier just to say, I don't know, it's not there, to ignore it. Yeah, it is what it is, to fight against it.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to deal with it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I just came back from Sydney.
Yeah.
And if you guys don't know this about me, I have no sense of direction. Absolutely none. Like, I'm surprised. Yeah, it's just sad. Like, I always, when we go to the mall, I always park in the same area and always walk in through the same way because otherwise there's a good chance I'll get lost in the mall and it doesn't feel good because you get tired. So I tend to do things the same way every time to kind of deal with the fact that's my emotional discipline for dealing with the fact that I have no sense of direction. But now I was in a strange city, and how do you deal with it now? Because there is no habit or routine to deal with the fact that I have no sense of direction and I need to navigate a place that I don't know about. And it came from, like you said, having to ask for help. And other people with me, they could find where they were going with no problem. But for me, that wasn't the case.
Yeah. People want help. People want help. They want to help. They will help each other.
Right, and most people, it's true, they want to help you. So here I was in a strange city having to ask people for help all the time. Unfortunately, if you humble yourself and you go ask, most people want to be of use. It makes them feel good to be able to help you. But you have to have that emotional discipline to realize, one, this is your challenge. And then two, to devise a way to deal with that challenge. Because I didn't overcome it, because Serena always says that we don't overcome things, and it's true because even once I got to the restaurant, I was still directionally challenged. That didn't change. I just happened to be at the restaurant.
It's almost difficult to deal with change.
Right. It takes emotional discipline to deal with your challenges.
Okay. It's not a fault.
What did you say? Life is not.
It's not a natural tendency.
Say that for me again.
Our natural tendency.
Our natural tendency. Yeah, so Serena just said, you know what? Our natural tendency is to say that life is not fair.
It's natural tendency other situations.
And our natural tendency is to depend upon other people.
Not to blame other people.
Is to blame other people.
And other things.
And other things.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I could. I had a page on my life when I blame everything on my disability.
Right, so you've had periods throughout your life where you blame things on your disability.
And everything of blaming. Here is about blaming.
And here is the thing about blaming.
It's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. It's true.
It's true.
Yeah. Every dream has some element of truth.
Every blame has a little bit of truth.
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah. What does really make it? My life a lot harder.
And your disability makes your life a lot harder.
If you have anxiety of your, it makes it a lot harder.
If you have anxiety or fear, it makes it a lot harder.
If you see the economy is hard.
Right. You might say it's the economy or it's...
Whatever you want.
Yeah, it's, and then you can just fill in the blank.
There's some truth to every single community, yeah.
Right. So there's some truth to every single complaint that you have.
And every single challenge are real.
And every single challenge that you have
Is real.
is real.
But that's why I think I'm going to deal with the challenges.
And that's why it takes emotional discipline to deal with it. That's so true because, you know, like you just said, so much of your complaint, there's some truth to it, you know. There is truth now that you know it's there. What are you going to do? Are you going to wallow? Are you going to be completely taken over by the complaint and just give into it? Or are you going to have the discipline, the emotional discipline and fortitude to say, hey, this is it. What am I going to do?
Exactly. Next, other people.
Other people?
Other people. It is more than you. Other people.
It takes a certain amount of emotional discipline to deal with other people.
Get other people have their own logic, their own timing, their own stuff.
Because other people have their own mindset, their own challenges, and their own stuff.
And we want to be women situations.
I'm sorry?
About discrete women situations.
We
want to be women situations.
Yes, we want to create win-win situations.
I think just to deal with other people.
And it takes emotional discipline just to deal with other people.
You can deal with other people throughout the day.
Right, you're going to deal with a lot of people throughout the day.
Your family.
Yeah, you'll deal with your family.
Your professional environment.
Yeah, your professional environment.
Maybe other kind of
Maybe, when you say customers?
Yeah.
Vendors?
All kind of people.
Yeah.
Like dry cleaners.
Yeah, you'll go to the dry cleaners, the grocery store, whatever. Throughout your day, you're not going to be just by yourself, generally.
You gotta give people what they need and get what you need.
Right, you have to give people what they need, and you gotta get what you need from others.
And they communicate in the right way. You gotta communicate in the right way.
And you have to communicate that in the right way.
And guess what?
Right.
It's not always gonna go smoothly.
And it's not always gonna go smoothly.
You take more than discipline to actually get what you need, actually get what you want.
Right, and it takes emotional discipline to actually get what you need and to actually get what you want.
You can't.
And it's challenging. It is. It's very challenging.
You really So I did it.
You have to, throughout the day, yeah, it's true. Throughout the day, some of these other people, they aren't always going to be that wonderful. I mean, let's just tell the truth. Are you wonderful all the time? No, you're not. And other people aren't going to be wonderful all the time either.
Yeah, you have different issues, issues.
Yeah, you have to deal with various issues on a regular basis.
You deal with their issues.
And you have to deal with their issues.
Their moods.
Their moods.
And the only consistent. Is that only consistent?
It's not always going to be, and that's the truth. People are, we like to think that we're emotionally consistent. Generally, we aren't. Would you agree with that, Serena?
Yeah.
Yeah, generally,
No matter how much you can tell, the way you yourself.
Right, and you have to deal with the fact that, not everybody is going to work on themselves the way you're working on yourself. You can't expect for them to.
It's emotional to deal with other people.
Yeah, and so it takes emotional discipline to deal with other people and to deal with them the way they are.
But find it one more clarity.
And so here's our last one. Clarity.
Clarity is not knowing what you want, why you want it, and what others expect.
Right, so clarity is this. It's knowing what you want. It's knowing why you want it. And then it's knowing the steps to get you there.
A lot of people basing on what other people think or what other people are.
Right. So a lot of people base what they want off of what they think other people think they should want. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you hear it all the time. Why did you go into this career? Why is it that you became a lawyer? Well, my mom always told me I should be a lawyer, so now I'm a lawyer. Right?
Yeah, really.
Well, say hello.
Hi, how are you?
Well, thank you. How are you?
Pretty good. So we did your call for now.
Say hello, everyone. You might wave. Say hi.
Hi, Sarah.
Everyone,
Hi,
these are Serena's parents. They're awesome. They came by to say
Who
hi.
are we saying hi to?
Whoever's watching you on Facebook Live.
Oh.
Could you borrow your car's thing of calls? Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
It's live. It's awesome. Your parents are so awesome. We're going to take a little break. We just have to talk about how classy and Serena said that those are the two people who taught him everything that he needs to know. Serena said that his mother is the most emotionally disciplined person that he knows.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, though your parents are two of the classiest people I think I know.
And you know,
It does. It takes a lot of emotional discipline because even at times when you think, when the reaction to be something other than classy would be the natural one, I've seen your parents respond with a sense of grace and class that's kind of, that isn't seen very often.
and there are some.
Yeah. See, it's a break that fit in perfectly.
Yeah. Anyway, you know what you want and what that means.
Yeah, so clarity is knowing what you want, why you want it. You said how to get there?
Yeah, what are the next steps?
Yeah, and so the next steps to get there.
They tell me people, they tell me for goals.
Yeah, in life, just a lot of people have goals,
But they never work on their goals.
but then they never really work on those goals.
It's a wish list.
It's a wish list. Yeah, that's true. What do you say, Serena? A goal without a plan is right. A goal minus a plan is nothing more than a wish.
Yeah, so if you're not actively working on your goals, it's a wish.
Right. If you're not actively working on your goals, then you don't have a goal. What you have is a wish. And I'm so glad you said that because you run into so many people. I hope I'm not going on too fast here.
We're good.
Okay. You run into a lot of people who say, this is my goal. I have a goal to do this. And then you ask them what they're doing for it. And they say, well, I'm going to, or I'm about to, or I'm fixing to. None of these things are actually happening. They're things that they're hoping to do one day. That means that that goal is not a goal. Until you start working towards that goal, you do not have a goal. You have a wish. I'm sorry. I just hear it all the time, and it is just one of those things.
Well, that's last week.
I'm sorry?
Last week.
Yeah, what have you done in the last week to get you there?
Well, that month.
What have you done in the last month? Goodness, what have you done in the last 24 hours?
Yeah. I
Yeah, we did. We had this discussion right before, because we do things before we get on live, and that was one of the things we talked about.
I'm in camp, and we can't really connect with that for a while. Never been here until we get going outside. We get really happy.
Right. So one of the things we're doing is we're getting back into keynoting. Serena is, and we need to come up with a plan to make that happen.
I get like what time you what did you week?
Right.
What did you week? I'm out of stuff.
Right. So we just had to come up with a plan for a way to make a method to make this happen. What are the steps we're going to take to make this happen?
And that's the perfect. Yeah.
That's part of clarity.
What are the next steps? What are the next steps?
What are the next steps?
What even get back a to-do list.
Even even clarifying the to-do list.
Even clarifying what your calendar looks like.
Yeah, even write down to what your calendar looks like.
I think you need to create and
right, and this involves emotional discipline. Because sometimes, you might kind of know what you want. Or, it's hard to, when somebody has programmed you that this is what you need to do, realize that's not what you want to do. And to have the emotional discipline to recognize that and to break away from that tie that says this is what you should be doing.
And the example is when a community go, I was in a party with a group and we decided to talk about it more.
Right, and so Serena just said, a while ago he was working with a group and he decided that in order to fit in with this group, the best thing for him to do would be to veer away from his natural talent, your natural fit, which is motivation and inspiration, and move more into the realm of business.
Yeah, and I was out, so I could have what I want. I could have what I want.
Right.
And really if I work with that.
Right. So Serena wasn't happy because this isn't his natural bend, right? And so he had to go back, readjust, and really just take a hard look. Correct?
Yeah. I had to listen to my agent. I really do it for myself. I can chat everybody else. I can chat everybody else for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, he had to, take some time, separate, just really deal with his emotions for about 2 weeks, and then come back with a sense of clarity about what it was that he really wanted to do. Not what other people thought he should be doing, but instead what he wanted to be doing.
I need to get they are working.
Yeah, it's really hard. It can be very challenging. Nowadays, because of the amount of information we have and the amount of noise, knowing what you want to do, being able to really pinpoint what you want to do,
Yeah.
that can be very, very tough.
Even when you're not now, I was people in my industry.
Right, so Serena said he follows a lot of people in his industry.
And everybody has a little bit of mythology.
Right, and everybody has kind of a different method.
No, you're wrong. No, you're wrong.
Now, none of them are wrong.
But there are different.
But they're all
Different.
different.
It's like a diet.
It's like a diet.
Every day has a little bit of mythology.
Right, a lot of them have a little bit of something that you need.
But if you mix diets,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't work.
But then if you mix the diets, it's really not going to work.
So my goal, what I'm going to do right now is, what methodology do I want to follow and do I make so focus?
Right, so right now it's, hey, what methodology do I want to follow? And which one do I want to go forward with?
And that's the most important because my team has to talk that I can get other people and go with what I think is the right one.
Right, so it's hard because you've got to figure out what's the right one for you and for your team, and everybody has their own ideas.
And it covers everything. It covers new data, it covers narrative.
Yeah, because that does. It touches everything. It touches your limitations. It touches your narrative.
Yeah.
It touches your habits. Yeah, so clarity is really, really important.
Yeah. Let me go back to the 5.
All right, so once again, there were 5 elements or 5.
5 pieces anyway.
There are 5 keys to amazing mindset,
And all of them are tracked by emotions.
and all of them are touched by emotional discipline. So we're gonna get ready to go, but before we do, it wouldn't be right to have gone through all 5 of these as quickly as we did and not kind of recap. So let's do a quick recap. What they are. Right, the first one was your narrative.
I want you to work.
Right, that's what's true about you, what's false about you, or what's true about what you believe about you, what's false about what you believe about you, and what do you need to rewrite about your belief about yourself. I said that right.
Number 2, habit of the free life.
Right. Then there's habits. And habits are the engine that keep your life going. Kind of, I don't want to call it the fuel necessarily, but they're kind of propel, or the engine that kind of propels things, right?
Yeah, every day you get the opportunity to either have it or not.
Right. So every day you have the opportunity to either have good habits or not have good habits.
Yeah, challenges. Number two, challenges.
Number 3 is challenges.
What other challenges that get in the way of your life?
What? Right. So what are the challenges that get in the way of your life?
Because every challenge has an element of truth.
Right. Every challenge has an element of truth.
Mostly how do I navigate my challenges?
Right. And so the question becomes, how do you navigate your challenges?
Number 4, deal with others.
Number 4, dealing with others.
You deal with different mindsets,
And you deal with people's mindsets,
different personalities,
different personalities, different moods.
how do you get emotional discipline to deal with them in the right way?
Right. And so it takes emotional discipline to deal with that in the right way.
Number clarity.
And finally, there's clarity.
Being clear on next step.
Yeah, being clear on what you want to do,
Why you
why you want to do it,
and next step.
and then how you're going to get there, your next steps.
It can be used something as simple as what am I going to work during the day?
Yeah, it can even be something as simple as, what am I going to wear today?
You know what I'm saying? So if you spend 15 minutes to get your order, then you could be that could run your rest of it.
Did you say 50 minutes choosing your outfit?
15?
15 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know it's no more than 2 minutes.
What now?
I know it's no more than 3 seconds.
Really? 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Yeah. I might be one of those 15-minute people. Yeah.
Okay.
Not often, though, because usually I already have an idea. But pre-children, definitely more than 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emotion is taking everything in your life.
Right. Emotional discipline touches everything in your life.
Yeah. Even when we're breaking
Yeah, and when your parents came, it was nice to have visitors.
We had to celebrate.
I'm sorry?
We had to celebrate.
We didn't.
We didn't overreact. We didn't overreact.
Oh, no, there was no overreaction. It was great.
We did. I just celebrated everyone.
Yeah, we just adjusted, enjoyed the moment.
We can't get positive.
All right, and there's one more.
We get emotional. You're not wasting your energy on stuff that doesn't matter.
Right, so when you have emotional discipline, someone said you don't waste your energy on stuff that doesn't really matter.
You gotta save that energy for the things that do matter.
Right, you can save your energy for things that do matter. And it's true because, and we're seeing it a lot now, that our society is so noisy, and there's, things that can really that can really attack our emotions and get us amped up. But ultimately those things really just may not matter so much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to find the truth.
Right. So Serena said, hey, look, as you already know, my name's Serena. I've got a blog. There's a link to it in the description. Go read it, please.
I read books. I know I'm a dream. I like this stuff.
Right. So Serena writes books, does online training. He does some really good things. So if you could just kind of, visit his site, and there's a link to that in the description as well. And then just go be.
They'll be amazing.
It'll be amazing.
Bye.
Bye, and thank you so much for spending this time with us. Be amazing.